Amended VAT draft bill will be presented to Parliament once again. A statement from the Prime Minister. Interim report of COPE on 19 state institutions presented to Parliament. Report on the bond issue to be presented in 2 weeks. Who made the SLFP lose the opportunity it had to form a government? A revelation by Minister S.B. Dissanayake. What will be the future of the medical college in Malabe?
මාළඹේ වෛද්‍ය විද්‍යාලයේ වෛද්‍යවරුන්ට ලංකාවේ වෛද්‍යවරු හැටියට පිළිගැනීම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම දිය යුතුයි කියලා මම කියනවා.
Judoka Chamaranuwan placed 11th at the Rio Olympics. Sri Lanka swimming champion Matthew Abesinga to compete later tonight.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Let's start off with a look at your top story tonight.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya informed Parliament today of the Supreme Court's determination on the value-added tax draft bill.
I wish to announce to the House that I have received the determination of the Supreme Court in respect of the bill titled Value-Added Tax Amendment, which has been challenged in the Supreme Court in terms of Article 121 of the Constitution. The Court has determined that the provisions contained in Article 152 of the Constitution and Standing Order 133 are imperative in the character, and the failure to follow them render the subsequent proceedings nullity. Since the due process had not been complied with in terms of Article 78(2) and the 152 in Constitution before the bill was introduced in Parliament, the Supreme Court has made, in terms of Article 120 and 121, read with Article 123 and 152 of the Constitution, that no determination would be made at this stage on the ground of challenge raised by the petitioners. I direct that the determination of the Supreme Court be printed in the official report of today's proceedings.
In deference to the judgment of the Supreme Court, we will represent this bill in the House later. But there are large number of bills which have become law in this Parliament, last Parliament, and the Parliament before, following the procedure which has been followed in respect of the VAT amendment bill.
Draft bills which affect the income of the general public must be approved by Cabinet. According to Standing Order number 133, the relevant minister should inform Parliament of the Cabinet's approval. While it is an internal matter of Parliament when standing orders are not followed, that decision lies in the hands of the Speaker and his decision should be final. Parliament has the power to change Standing Order number 133, which was the basis of the Supreme Court's decision. Through this, the then Parliament had lost that power. The Supreme Court has so far adhered to the tradition which disregards the ruling given by Speaker Anura Bandaranaike. I will discuss this matter with party leaders as quickly as possible and make a decision. The subject minister has to present the certification of the Cabinet to Parliament. If the minister has brought an act to Parliament without presenting the Cabinet's approval, then that is a serious issue. The bill is not valid. There is no point in talking about a bill that is invalid. If the Supreme Court's determination is that the system followed is not suitable, then we will present this bill to this House once again through Cabinet. It is only because of good governance that things like this could be prevented through a hearing. Now, just because I have an issue with the decision of the Supreme Court, I will not go and lock horns with them, nor will I bring forth an impeachment motion against the Chief Justice. If you have issues, we will rectify them.
Deputy Minister Nishantha Muthuhettigama says that he will extend his fullest support to the VAT amendment. The Deputy Minister made this statement addressing a media briefing held at his residence in Goa.
When the act on the VAT was brought forward, as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, we too had various amendments. We came to a decision at midnight yesterday that we would accept the VAT amendment. We decided that the VAT amendment bill presented by the Minister of Finance will be passed with a majority of 2/3 in Parliament. There will be no change to our decision. As a government, we hope to state that come the next budget, there will be further amendments made to the VAT bill. I would like to say that this bill will be passed with a 2/3 majority, not tomorrow, but the day after. Nishantha Muttu Hettigama, addressing a media briefing, said that all members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party had arrived at a decision following a meeting last night to vote in favour of the VAT amendment. All members of the SLFP have agreed to cast their vote in favour of the VAT amendment.
Chairman of the Committee on Public Enterprises, MP Sunil Handunetti, informed Parliament today that the COPE report on the central bank bond transactions will be revealed within the next 2 weeks.
The parliamentarian made this statement today while presenting the COPE's investigative report on 19 state institutions to Parliament.
I make a request to remove the obstructions in the standing orders and immediately create a system where the working committee can report its activities to the general public. Most recommendations have not been implemented at cabinet level or at ministries. This has caused us to be unable to reach out our expected progress on certain institutions. In terms of the central bank bond transaction, we hope to table the report on our working committee within the next 2 weeks. The activities of such committees are covered by the media in most parts of the world. The committee meeting of the British Parliament was telecast live. When we were in the opposition, we proposed that these things be open to the media. So yes, let's formulate a system. We are not against it. We are carrying out a study on standing orders. There will be an opportunity to bring in new standing orders.
Who deprived the Sri Lanka Freedom Party of an opportunity to establish a government at the previous election?
Minister S.B. Dissanayake expressed his views on the matter.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa was the reason why we were not able to establish a single party rule. We were ready to give Chamal Rajapaksa the candidacy for the post of Prime Minister. President Maithripala Sirisena spoke to Chamal Rajapaksa and Chamal Rajapaksa was on board with this. Then President Sirisena spoke to Mahinda Rajapaksa about this and asked him to step aside and let Chamal Rajapaksa go instead. But Chamal was stopped by Mahinda Rajapaksa. Then there was a huge debate and they agreed on Gotabaya Rajapaksa, but Mahinda Rajapaksa did not let him through either. On that day, if this party acted together as one and Mahinda Rajapaksa stepped aside and let someone like Chamal Rajapaksa move forward, we would have gone for 116 or 120 seats instead of just 96.
A media briefing was conducted by the UNP today to address current political issues at the party headquarters, Sirikota.
The UNP, which was to be against President Maithripala Sirisena, is the party which protects him now. He is the leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The United National Party worked tirelessly to bring him into power. Therefore, the President can now work freely with international leaders. The President and the Prime Minister now have the ability to develop this country to a level which the people hadn't even dreamed of.
ගිය පාද යාත්‍රාව සීලානීපය දෙපාලු කොට කලපව් වලින් බේරිලා ගෙදර යන්නට වඳිනා දෙවුල් කඩා වැටෙයි ඔවුන්ගේ හිස මතට
Vimal Veeravansa is trying to get the whole of Colombo to his side. We won the city of Colombo with a margin of 160,000 votes in the recent elections. Can Vimal Veeravansa win this city over? This is our city. If we want to, we will not let anyone step into the city from Paliagoda itself. We can do that. We will not let them come in from Vellavath also. No, this is the UNP's territory. I'm saying that we can do this. Not one person. Now, I'm only replying as a response to what they said. This is only a joke. No, they were able to carry out the Padayatra from Kandy to Colombo because we did not have thugs or goons. If we did, then they would have not have been able to engage in the Padayatra.
Various views are being expressed by the ruling party on the future of the Matala Airport and the Hambantota Port. What is happening to these two projects?
State Minister Sujiva Senasinghe elaborated on this matter during a meeting with representatives of the Jatika Dumriya Seva Samithiya today.
The Hambantota Port and Mattala Airport incur great losses. They incur loss of 1.5 billion rupees a year. We have spoken with China and entered into a public-private partnership because if the government holds on, that too will go bankrupt. So that is what we are doing. Even the Chinese government has agreed to do this. They have also promised to exempt the debt to a certain extent. To save us from the debt trap, we are now getting an interest rate of 7%, and this we are trying to bring it down to 2%. The people of the country do not realize the trap Mahinda Rajapaksa had set before he left. For years we have worked for the United National Party and have been at the receiving end of political revenge. But today those in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party have been the subject of political revenge, and we have nothing.
Our people are the constant victims of all sorts of attacks. There is no end to it.
The journey we are on now is good. See how the country will develop in another year or so. In another 2 to 3 years, the coalition government will be over. Then we will take the UMP flag and do what is needed.
What is a suitable land area that should be allocated for a family? Although there is no adequate measurement for this, we know that a considerable amount of space is vital. That is a basic human right.
However, it is a crime if 24 families are residing in a place where only a few families could reside in. Is it a world record? Let's find out.
This is the beautiful coastline of Bambalapitiya. What you see here is the railway station. The area between it is home to 24 families. 15 children also reside here. This could be a record.
පවුල් 24ක් ජීවත් වෙනවා. ඒ කුඩා දරුවන් 15 දෙනෙකුත් එක්ක මේ නම් අතිශය වාර්තාගත ජීවත් වීමක්.
These residents have no legal ownership to reside on this strip of land. They reside on a state-owned plot of land and are illegal residents. Although living in a plot of illegal land could be solved through legal means, the safety and security of the 24 families residing on this strip of land is questionable. The activities carried out here does not seem to appear as accepted self-employment. Based on the inspections which we carried out for a few hours, we noticed an unusually large number of strangers frequent the area. The only right thing that these persons possess is the right to vote. The only reason these illegal residents have the right to vote is because the politicians fear that they will not receive the support and vote if steps are taken to remove them from the location. Just as justice should be meted out to these persons, the environment too needs to be treated in a just manner.
Another project kicked off today under the government, the 100-day initiative in the Varla village in Bibila.
The government, the 100-day initiative, with the people, for the people.
Day 21. For 30 years, the villages of Varala Bibila in Monaragala district endured many hardships due to the lack of a proper road network. However, hope has now been restored. Another project of the government, the 100 Days Initiative, got underway today. Members of Newsfirst and the Capital Maharaj organization in attendance. Renovation work on this stretch of road, which spans approximately a kilometer, commenced today.
We have always thought when we see the villagers that they cannot change their fate. But today, we at Newsfirst have been able to bring about this change. Sometimes we feel like helping someone out, but we rarely do it. But today, we have implemented a task that we can fulfill.
A media channel has never come forward in this manner in order to resolve the issues faced by the public within a mere 100 days and engage in development activities. This is the first time such a thing has ever happened. It is clear that we have to support each other.
In lay terms, what does Sirasa mean? It means the head. Now it is clear that Sirasa is by no means just a head. This is a channel that understands the pulse of the people. We need to protect Sirasa and hope it prospers more in time to come. You possess more human qualities than the shortcomings and the difficulties you face. If you want this village to develop, to become more beautiful, children in the area should get more educated. Poverty comes with ignorance. It is like the tree and bark. As long as this relationship continues, we cannot move forward. We will always stand by you through thick and thin to face challenges. We appreciate the tasks undertaken by the Sirasa Media Organisation, which is beyond their sole objective. I say this because your media organisation has intervened and undertaken a task that we ought to do. The establishment of the Gammadu Savya committee organizations with the aim of extending public support to successfully implement the Gammadu 100-day initiative also commenced today.
Several organizations signed a joint declaration today against the private medical college in Malabe. However, Minister S.B. Dissanayake pointed out that ensuring the right to education for children is a responsibility which lies in the hands of the government.
The declaration was signed by the Inter-University Students' Federation and several civil organizations. We believe that through such measures we will not only defeat SITEM but also push the neoliberal program of this capitalist government against the wall and create a fighting example to make the people's dreams come true. Minister S.B. Dissanayake expressed his views on this matter at a media briefing today. Those who have money go overseas and get themselves a degree. So it is our responsibility to give the opportunity for the children who do not have that kind of money to get a degree by at least taking a bank loan. Those children cannot enter state universities. We must open the doors of state universities for those children. But under the prevailing laws, they cannot. So it is not the responsibility of the people and the government of this country to establish a private university for those children. According to the medical ordinance, the Minister of Health actually has the power to disregard the decision of the Medical Council and go for a different decision. In terms of facilities, only the Colombo, Peradeniya, Kalaniya and Sri Jayawardhanapura universities are either equal or above the standards of the Malabe Medical College. The others have a severe teacher crisis. A large portion of lecturers and professors from the medical college in Malabe teach at these universities. So I believe that it is imperative that we accept those who graduate from the Malabe Private Medical College as doctors in Sri Lanka.
Western Provincial Councillor Susil Kindalpitiya raised a question on privileges during the Provincial Council meeting today.
The Chief Minister had used my name and condemned my personal and political life during my absence. I state with responsibility that my privileges have been violated. If I keep quiet today, someday privileges of other councillors too will be violated. He says that I spread false rumours about the garbage mound in Kolonnava and that I have become a prey to several multinational companies. Honourable Chairman, what they are trying to do is to make locals in my area go against me and threaten me using hooligans.
Meanwhile, Western Provincial Councillor Susil Kindalpitiya and several councillors from the opposition lodged a complaint in the Financial Crimes Investigation Division with regard to a financial misappropriation that took place in the Western Provincial Council during the latter part of the year 2014.
We requested the FCID officials to carry out investigations with regard to the misuse of finances in the Provincial Council and the officials who assisted it. I'd like to remind you that the misused money exceeds 70 million rupees.
The final rites of late veteran actor Vijay Nandasiri will be performed this Thursday.
The remains of late Vijay Nandasiri was brought to his residence located in Kalapura, Mount Lavinia this morning. Actors and actresses, relatives and fans from all corners of the country arrived at his residence to pay their final respects to this versatile personality.
My husband is a king. He has now left me behind. I cannot bear his loss. He is an unmatchable character. He was Maname for 27 years. Sirasa was Vijay's changing point of his life. He acts in Yes Madam, Yes Boss and Nonavarni Mahatwarni made him a different character and won the hearts of many.
His fellow artists too expressed their grief with us over his loss.
My personal opinion is that this character, Vijay Nandasiri, is someone that cannot be replaced.
The loss of this great personality will be deeply felt to the industry. The people of this country are grieving over his loss. He's someone who should have lived longer.
I felt the saddest that I have ever felt in my life today. I say this because I had a very good relationship with this humble actor since the early 70s.
A two-day National Trade Portal and Single Window Best Practices Forum was held today in Colombo under the auspices of Minister of Finance Ravi Karnanayaka.
The event brings together high-level customs and trade-related officials from India, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Sri Lanka to discuss best practices for national trade portal and single window platforms to reduce cost of cross-border trade in South Asia.
I strongly profess that certain trade barriers should remain and be retained by reduction in non-tariff barriers could result in greater volumes of trade being transacted in the Asian region. We did link up with this high-tech single window program, thus facilitating the export and the import process in Sri Lanka. We are on the threshold of entering into comprehensive trade economic agreements between India, China and other countries. It is most fervent wish from a fiscal viewpoint the balance of payments position will improve with such endeavours assisting the economic growth.
Remarks were also made by the US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Atul Keshap.
Among all of the regional economic groupings of the entire planet, South Asia's regional and intra-regional trade remains too low. Only about 5% of total trade is intra-regional. And intra-regional investment is less than 1% of overall FDI in South Asia. The Indo-Pacific Economic Corridor is an initiative that is building closer economic ties across the Bay of Bengal, Asia-Pacific, and the Indian Ocean regions. Policy clarity and policy consistency helps to level the playing field. It fosters transparency and it provides predictability. All of these signal to the investor community that you are open for business and will attract foreign and domestic investors looking for the best places to invest their money and share their knowledge.
Well, we, on behalf of the News First team, would like to wish Matthew Abesing best wishes and as he participates in his first Olympics in Rio today. That's it for now. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shred Silva. Take care and good night.